open notebook. Just go ahead and ask those questions if you want to wait to the conclusion.
First suggestion is the same suggestion I gave to Adam Gove. When we have some spreadsheets where the most current information is to the left instead of the right, and some to the right instead of the left. And the large spreadsheet you gave us, which has rates of inflation on it, has the most current on the left, as opposed to most Excel sheets have the most current on the right.
Well, that'll cost you 3%.
Okay,
Suggestion for future
Noted.
spreadsheets.
we'll take care of that. Commissioner.
Not alone in this. There are others that do it, but I think it's confusing when you look at numbers and look at the most current here and what's current there.
Makes sense. We'll do our best to correct that for you. The issues that I want to, this year's budget or for the 2024, my proposal is attempting to address is the greatest issues facing the prosecutor's office currently. And that is the recruitment, the issue regarding recruitment. We currently have 4 vacancies within the office. Retention, attempting to address compassion fatigue, vicarious trauma, secondary trauma, stress, burnout, and in doing so, thereby assist retention. I also am attempting to essentially compete and address discriminate salaries as compared to either similar counties, similarly situated, or even within our own county, those being different offices and agencies. I think it's important that as a county, if we're going to do our best for each of our constituents and citizens, that while competition is healthy, we need to stop competing with each other. Some of these salary requests, those came when our office became aware that our salaries for similarly situated individuals were not similar to other. Was the loss of at least one person, one personnel specifically. So the other issue here is I want to attempt to appropriately staff the office. So for example, if you go to the doctor's office, we were previously talking about doctor's offices, you wouldn't anticipate having your vitals taken by a plumber. You would expect to have a medical assistant. So that's what I'm attempting to. I have to have competent attorneys by rule. I have to have competent staff. Incompetent staff reflects upon the competency of the office, and ultimately I am ethically responsible for that. I think it's important that the prosecutor's office be staffed with legally trained individuals. And in order to do that, we have to also bring up their salaries or their hourly pay. I know one of the big issues, and I'll get to that, is going to be on our non-contract services. We've just labeled it, for a lack of better words at this point, is that mental health stipend. If I move into recruitment and some of the issues that we're facing with recruitment, we have put together a package to attract at least young attorneys. And speaking with the commissioners individually, I think the commissioners understand the need to come on those special circumstances to the board when we find somebody that is exemplary. But what our new attorneys want is they want an environment where they can grow. They want an environment where they can learn. So they have expectations of experienced attorneys mentoring them. They have expectations of CLEs being provided or continuing legal education hours. And they want to be in the action. They want to be able to obtain immediate experience or firsthand experience within that courtroom. I'm able to control all of those, but what they also want is what is also important to them is just that work-life balance. In addition, they want a salary. What we're finding amongst the rest of the counties in the state, and I've provided documentation, and I have another board that I'd like to show the commissioners, is that starting salary is between $60,000 and $70,000 per year. Now, when we take a look at the wage study or the scales within that the county has provided to my office, I believe for an assistant prosecuting attorney that tops out at $71,000. We have to begin to address the longevity issue and how we recognize persons with more experience. And we're talking about, as I move in then to retention, I'm talking about that retention issue. An attorney with 15 years experience certainly is going to be less than satisfied if they know or find that they're being compared or paid similarly to an attorney with zero experience. As it relates to retention, attorneys, prosecutors, they want to know that they're valued. They want to know that their work is valued. They want that ability to lead. They want recognition for their work. And I think the way that we recognize them is through that longevity, as well as some of the flexibility with schedules. I've already began to address the flexibility. I can control the leadership in the office. I can give personal recognition and spotlight those people that do great work. But I still need the assistance of the commissioners when we talk about that longevity pay. Additionally, something that is, as it relates to retention and the vacancies, big issue there is the attorneys specifically in my office, and I know it's consistent across the state, is they want to be able to do their best work. Nobody wants to show up to court, go in front of a jury and know that they're going to fall on their face because they're not prepared. And currently right now, due to the vacancies, because we cannot compete with our competing counties, these vacancies remain, thereby causing case numbers that each one of my attorneys are balancing and handling to increase exponentially, This is going to take me into some of the documents that I've provided to the commissioners. I'm going to start first with it's the public defender's memo regarding case numbers, and this was issued in July 24th of 2019. It's labeled on the letterhead at the top. It says Office of the Public Defender. And I want to start here. I recognize I'm not the public defender, but what I think you would recognize and you'll pick up on a lot of the stuff that they talk about in this memo are still values and interests that the prosecutor's office has to have and the commissioners has to have as it relates to seeking justice and ensuring justice. So that second paragraph, the Ohio Public Defender believes.
Tell me what that looks like.
Yes. I would be able to put it on the screen here, but for some reason it's not connecting, Mr. Farrow. I don't know if it's in there or.
That is not your screen. Oh, wait, let's try that. Hold on. That we have to do source on. Let's see if I can do this.
Yep, there we go. Fancy pants.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
You have a future in IT.
Scrolling down here to the second paragraph, the Ohio Public Defender believes the availability and advocacy of quality defense counsels results in better efficiencies for the courts, better outcomes for all parties, and the fair justice system. Those are values that are still consistent with the prosecutor's office and must be at the forefront of a prosecutor's office. We do not seek convictions, we seek justice. That's exactly what the public defender's office is recognizing here, fair justice systems. Going down here, citing the Sixth Amendment to the US Constitution in that third paragraph, the guarantee of the right to counsel is a right that has been deemed necessary to fully protect our most fundamental freedoms. Individual liberty. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Jumping down there, the right to counsel is one of the safeguards of the Sixth Amendment deemed necessary to ensure fundamental human rights of life and liberty, and serves one of the essential barriers against arbitrary or unjust deprivation of human rights. Again, while we're talking specifically about the Sixth Amendment, this correlates to a prosecutor's obligation as it relates to due process. I have the obligation to provide due process to each and every citizen because we are not guilty until we've been proven such. These same, again, I believe we can liken these same principles to holding the prosecutors accountable there. And as the public defender went through this memorandum, you will see then, and that's it's on page 4 of that memo, where they talk about caseloads. This has now been memorialized within the Ohio Administrative Code. Defense counsel cannot take more than 150 felonies per attorney per year. And the reason they say that, they recognize is that at that point, attorneys become incompetent and ineffective. They become incompetent and ineffective. This is then codified, like I said, in the administrative code under Administrative Code 120. I'm going to follow this.
Can I interrupt? Is it cumulative or individually? In other words, one attorney can handle 150 felonies and no more, and no appeals, no mental health. Just total number of cases.
Per year. Honestly, I'm hesitant to answer that because I don't want to be wrong at it, but I believe it's, as I've seen it, and I've seen attorneys request to come off cases, they cite specifically, this attorney has had more than 150 felonies or has 150 felonies pending.
Doesn't seem like that could be cumulative.
No. It's 3 a week felonies. I can't see how they.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but
I can tell you I've seen it cited and utilized. So it's something that, like I said, they're held accountable to, because at this point it becomes an ethical issue to which they can be cited for incompetence and brought up before disciplinary counsel. And that's where I want to now turn.
To date, have you had any prosecutors come before the disciplinary council for competency issues?
No, not yet, but I have grave concerns that we're approaching that with the numbers that I've provided to the commissioners here as relates to our caseload. I have grave concerns.
But today we haven't had any.
To date, I haven't, no. I would hope to avoid that, because at that point that becomes our license. That's our livelihood. What I'm suggesting, when we have attorneys leaving saying that I can't do my best work, I'm leaving for less work, more money, those types of comments, they're recognizing that they are becoming either burnout or incompetent as it relates to their cases. There's nothing worse than showing up to a courtroom and not being fully prepared for a pretrial, fully versed on all of the pleadings that's been filed days before that court hearing, or a motion hearing even, and that does happen. Then prosecutors should be rules of professional conduct. So I started with the public defender's office. Now these are the Ohio rules of professional conduct. So we are held to standards on a daily basis. All attorneys are, and this is specifically 1.1. It's what I'm stating. It reads that in determining whether a lawyer employs the requisite knowledge and skill in a particular matter, relevant factors include the relative complexity and specialized nature of the matter, the lawyer's general experience, the lawyer's training and experience in the field in question, the preparation and study the lawyer is able to give to a matter, the preparation and study a lawyer is able to give to a matter. I think it goes without saying that a prosecutor with zero experience is going to require more time becoming prepared and becoming competent on any particular matter than one that is fully more experienced, I should say.
I agree, we have increased salaries over 15% in the past 3 years. we have given pretty substantial increases. If I look at your 2021 request, it was 15836. Your request as of 2024 is 939,936, and we've approved the request in full as of last year. So we didn't even reduce it at all. We completely approved your request last year.
Mike, correct. I'm not disagreeing with that. These concerns are addressing the retention of attorneys because of my vacancies. And I need to get those numbers. I need to be able to compete at least at that bottom end and bringing in new attorneys. I cannot compete. If you take a look, well, in a moment, I'll show you the board. I'll show you the vacancies currently pending with OPAA and also the ones pending about a month ago. You will see that our starting salary at 55 doesn't even touch other counties similarly of similar populations and lower populations. For example, I believe it's Preble County is hiring at 95,000 currently. They currently have that posted at 95,000. So that's why I'm talking about, I need to give my attorneys time.
What's entry level for like Wayne, Ashland, Morrow?
I appreciate you just asking that. They just bumped their salaries. They have 2 attorneys at 95,000 with less experience than what I currently have and no managerial experience. I believe their lowest paid is it?
Have that?
Yeah, we have their entire, and on top of that, their legal secretaries are making 43.
I see that.
Just Wayne.
Just Wayne, what, you have Ashland?
No, I don't. This is
Laura?
staff for 21, like 23. We attempted to collect all of these. There's some of those counties that you're asking about, Mr. Vero. Not all of them followed through with our requests. Specifically, Wayne County refused our request, and ultimately we had to go to the auditor's office.
I'm looking at Wayne's here. While there's been some salary increases, looks like they've had some significant staff reductions.
Recognizing that they have to be able to compete. For example, John Hammers just took a $20,000 leap from in this year, 2022 to current. $20,000 from 75 to.
First assistant is making 89,000, right?
No, he's now making 95. That should be, I think it's Joe. I approach.
I show first assistant. I'm missing it. It's like separated.
Here they are, they're down here. The chief assistant prosecutor, Angela Pathwick was the previous assistant prosecutor. She's now the elected. They've done away with that position.
So again, they've had some staff reductions and our current first assistant makes 103 right now,
With
right?
with 30 years of experience.
So our first assistant makes more already.
Correct. I'm not asking for increases. If you look at my budget request, my increases are not at the top end. If they are well within the scales, the document I provided to the commissioners, the scales that I'm asking to be within, I'm asking to increase the bottom of my scales. Putting that document here.
So you would agree that it appears the people at the higher end probably do better here than in comparable counties.
As far as salary, yes, but when you take a look at caseload, no. If you take a look at, if you would compare caseloads, they're actually making less money per hour.
All right, so how many I show in 2022, which you handed me, Wayne County had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, we'll take away the prosecutor, 10 prosecuting or APAs. And again, I just got this, so I'm asking questions I would have prepared a little more ahead of time, but I'm looking at 10 on the attorney staff.
Did not count that.
What?
I can't confirm that. I don't know.
We just received the documents from the auditor. The prosecutor's office will not speak to us.
And then I only show 4 prosecutors?
I know they have vacant,
Sheet here in 2023.
I know they have vacancies pending and posted. They also, I don't believe what's on there is their domestic It's prosecutor. I'm not sure that's on there because that doesn't come out of.
This is the documents you guys are providing us. So I'm just looking. I only show 4. I show they've reduced from 10 to 4.
I can't speak to what's happening over there. That came directly from their auditor's office.
Okay, I'm just trying to follow along the.
If I was talking about our ethical obligations as stated, we need to have an obligation to be competent. My concern is the number of cases that we're currently handling due to the retention and recruitment issues I'm facing.
You have the
I-
2023 caseload for Wayne.
No, I do not. I can tell you they're reducing cases, though. I actually have some specifics. And
Well, you said that you guys have a higher caseload, and so I'm just trying to get the number of cases for their prosecutors to compare with our prosecutors, because
I can tell you Wayne County has not had 12 homicides this year.
yeah, I'm not doubting that we don't have a higher caseload, because we certainly do, absolutely. But you had made the statement that our prosecutors have more cases. And if I'm only looking at 4 APAs as opposed to 10 in a 1-year span, I would imagine their caseload has gone up significantly.
The other thing with Wayne County, that entire that office is both misdemeanors and felony.
So it seems like they would have a high caseload.
It's split. My point is there's less prosecutors there because there's less felonies there in the felony division.
But they also handle misdemeanors.
Their misdemeanor prosecutors stay in muni court. They do not go over to common pleas court, at least in years past. They've never done that. And so those misdemeanor cases, again, when we're talking about 180 days in jail, $1,000 fine maximum as compared to either life without or death penalty.
Right. I'm not saying, again, I'm just going off the statements. You said our prosecutors have a higher caseload than Wayne. So I was asking what the caseload of Wayne was.
I don't,
Prosecutor.
again, the prosecutor's office would not cooperate with us. They would not provide us information. We only got salary coming from the auditor. I cannot get case numbers from the auditor.
Okay.
In addition to the rules of professional responsibility in Ohio, I also want, and you'll see, I provided the 1.1 to the board. Down at the bottom, it states that this is that rules comes exactly from or has been completely adapted from ABA model rules. Now, the ABA is the American Bar Association rules. Now, those are model rules. These are best practices. So I bring you to ABA rules, the American Bar Association rules, for specifically as it relates to the standards for the prosecution's function in the criminal justice system. These are separate rules designed to the criminal justice system, and 3.1 talks about appropriate caseloads or workloads. The prosecutor should not carry a workload that by reason of its excessive size or complexity interferes with providing quality representation, endangers the interest of justice and fairness, accuracy, or the timely disposition of charges, or the significant potential to lead to a breach of professional obligations. Prosecutor's workload prevents competent representation, should not accept additional matters until the workload is reduced, and should work to ensure competent representation in existing matters. This is very similar to what we've seen essentially codified in the administrative code for the public defender's office. Going down to C, the model rules state that the chief prosecutor for the jurisdiction has an obligation, an ethical obligation to inform governmental officials of the workload of the prosecutor's office and request funding and personnel that are adequate to meet the criminal caseload. Prosecutors should consider seeking such funding from all appropriate sources. If workload exceeds the appropriate professional capacity of the prosecutor or prosecutor's office, the office or counsel should also alert the courts in its jurisdiction and seek judicial relief. I'm attempting to address those caseloads, and we can go ahead and move over to those. to that form here. It's the current breakdown of case numbers as we have it. Cases submitted to our office. Remember, we not only have the obligation to prosecute and present to grand jury and trial, but we also have to review every case that comes into our office. So in 2020, we had 1,597, 2021, 1,572, 2022, 1,405, and currently, as of yesterday, we had 1,782 cases coming into our office. As the cases are currently assigned to the assistant prosecutors, to my criminal chief, I have 275 cases assigned to her. Mr. Brown has 127. And the reason you see that drastic decrease there is because it would be a failure on my part to just put him on a full caseload currently, or as soon as he walks in that office. He needs to have that time to build up that case, that competency that I'm speaking of. Mr. Buckmeyer, a felony prosecutor with over 15 years experience, has 313 cases assigned to him. Ms. Burnside, with over 30 years experience, has 331 cases assigned to her. Ms. Calderhead, with just 3 years, working 3 years now, experience, has 286 felony matters assigned to her. You can see I'm dispersing these cases, giving interns an opportunity to get their hands dirty. That is obviously with oversight of a licensed attorney. There's constant conversations back and forth, but they're reviewing and preparing these matters. I have my juvenile prosecutor as 168 cases assigned to him. Myself, I'm carrying 518 cases at both intake, review, and or pending matters with the Court of Common Pleas. My investigator has 557 cases. When we talk about the competent resolution of cases, when we have workload issues, we have to start to pick and choose. And so these cases that you see here are the simple possession cases. Fairly straightforward, but we have that backlog. Those are over, those cases, we have cases sitting there that are well over a year old. Or approaching a year. Again, I can directly correlate these numbers or those numbers sitting in that investigator's office back to retention and recruitment issues. I have to make sure I have to prioritize cases at some point. We want the minor I say minor, they're not minor, they're serious. They're serious to the community because they have detrimental effects. They're serious to the family members that are impacted by the addiction issues of their family members. But at the same time, when we have homicides that are occurring at a rapid rate or an increased rate that we're experiencing right now, I have to focus those attentions on those violent crimes, and our violent crimes are definitely up. Provided additionally, then when we talk about, as we move into this, or still talking about the retention issues and recruitment issues, I provided several studies, a handful of studies as it relates to vicarious trauma, burnout. They call it secondary trauma stress. In speaking, I think individually with some of you, you had questions about what that mental health stipend was. Now, I think this is a way to address that need for a person to feel important, to feel recognized without a big increase in salary. It's a little something that goes a long way. And it is a way to separate myself from the competition, the other counties. We broke those down specifically. We're talking, if that formula is on that paper, I don't have it as it relates to that mental health stipend. I want to say it was $1,000 per prosecutor and $250 per every support staff member. How we address our mental health is different for each individual. This could be joining a book club. a monthly book club. This could be a gym membership. This could be a yoga membership,
Not a check written to the employee.
it would be ultimately for them to decide how best to address their own mental health, their vicarious trauma, their burnout.
Out to them that they can do what they want with it, right?
Correct. So that is that major increase. And like I said, I feel I provided significant documentation regarding or studies. These are actual studies showing or proving that I didn't just come up with this. I didn't just make this up. For example, we have a case pending in the courts. I have to be careful of, I'm going to tell you, it's thousands, over 1,000 images of child pornography. That's what we're looking at. That's what we have to deal with. You're talking about victims at their worst. I'm dealing with family members. My advocates are dealing with family members. My support staff's dealing with family members who lost their family member. And they want to know why or what's going on with these cases. These people are not at their worst, and we are reliving it, not just reliving it through that victim, but also through the images, taking a look, constantly reviewing the pathology reports, the images relating to that pathology report. Maybe another way I can liken it to the commissioners is I was watching TV one evening with my fiance, and as an action film, and there's lots of gun violence on there. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to watch it. And we spurred a conversation between the two of us, and he couldn't explain or understand why. And all I could say is, those are my victims. Those are real people, and I can't separate that. Somewhere there's a mother, somewhere there's a father, a parent, or a sibling, somebody related to him that lost that life. Him, it's just science fiction. But that is every day that we deal with that. On the flip side, as I'm preparing for trial, he cannot come into that room, not one because of confidentiality and such, but he knows when I'm reviewing those pathology reports and those images, because he can't handle looking at that. Think of a more local example. Some of those cases talked about another jury, a court providing a jury with counseling, and we do have that available to us here, through our employee assistance program. But this is something in addition. I'm getting far afield. The court recognized the jurors' needs to have some counseling sessions, just having sat through one jury. That even happened locally, is my understanding, on that Mac case. There were jurors requesting some counseling or assistance, having lived through that for several days, that prosecution, reviewing those images, seeing those family members, those victims in turmoil. While employee assistance programs are certainly beneficial, honestly, sometimes people are afraid to admit that weakness, that they need those counseling. And these studies talk about how if we take care of our physical health, that can go far and a long way to aid that employee in slowing down that burnout and dealing with that vicarious trauma and addressing these stressors in positive ways.
We are, Clemens Nelson is obviously things, as you know, we both graduated law school with someone who worked in Licking County. Wealthier county, they're having intel. If you look at demographics, they're competing with Franklin, Delaware. I wouldn't consider them a true comp, but if you do look at them, I know they had an APA position of significant salary that's 6 months. We know that there's less coming out into the field, and we also know this is a labor market that is unprecedented. I don't deny that we need to do something with salaries. Just think it's a little, we need to be a little careful in saying vacancies are solely related to salaries, because in every area, as we know, right, in our own divisions, we struggle to hire. Now, we have contracted with Clemens Nelson to do a comprehensive wage scale review to see where our scales are, and we've moved them. I mean, we intended when we passed the scales to not move them, and we've moved them twice. against the recommendation with Clemens Nelson. Because we realized we had to be competitive and there's a chance we may have to move them some more, which is what they're looking at. So we recognize we're in a very unique time. It's unprecedented COVID. We are reviewing our scales. We've contracted with Clemens. They're looking at that right now. So, be a little patient with us there. But I also think it's also fair to say that salaries aren't the only reason why people have vacancies everywhere. If I look at what you provided me, Wayne County is openings everywhere. I know Ashland County is stretched thin. I know that their county prosecutor is handling cases he's never handled before because he can't find attorneys. So I don't think it's totally fair to say that vacancies are a result of just salaries, because my understanding is attorneys, there's a struggle to hire attorneys all across the state of Ohio. I mean, you provided the Ohio APA openings, right?
Yeah, those are there.
There's openings all over the state of Ohio.
You're exactly right. I'm just trying to compete. I can't even compete. If you take a look at those salaries and respectfully, that wage study, I have a lot of,
The question. Could we look at that previous slide? If you don't, my observation was that
sorry,
you yourself, you're running,
my case numbers.
yes.
Sure.
You're running the office. And you're also handling 571 cases, if I remember the number right,
That is right. I have,
518.
these are cases that,
So you're running the office and running in some cases many times more than case that you're handling yourself.
in fairness, trials, those are not all trials. I do have lower number of trials, but I have a high number of trials and compared to elected officials. Many of these are cases that either need to be approved for grand jury. So it's moved off the APA's desk. They've reviewed it. They believe it needs to proceed to grand jury. It then gets assigned to me to review, to approve to go to grand jury. This could also be cases where APAs have reviewed and they believe there's insufficient evidence to proceed with prosecution. They're asking me to no charge it. I believe I have that, or have that responsibility to the citizens to review all of those.
So what you're saying is there's a case that maybe Chris Brown looked at, which would be one of the 127s, and then it came over to you.
No, he'll be removed off of that at that point.
Okay.
There's not duplicative numbers, should not be duplicative numbers in there.
Investigator is Massey.
Allison.
Okay.
Allison. That, well, I have maybe on another day where we can talk about that wage study of Clemens Nelson. We were provided the worksheets that were responded as it relates to, I think, the comparables. But at most, I think on average, you may have one or two counties that respond to that. But many times, another instance, there was no one that responded. In one other instance, there was one person or one other county that responded. So I don't know that it's a clear, a comprehensive review. I'm gonna move over to this board.
I guess I'm confused. If you're saying to me, hey, I need to compete. And I absolutely agree. All I'm seeing here is Wayne's that you're saying they're not talking to you. So I don't see Ashland. I don't see Mora. I mean, we are competing with those adjacent counties. If you look at the 5 county, we also include Wayne, right? But you provide us Wayne. I don't see Ashland. I don't see Morrow. Right? Do you have those?
He has some here. They'd also be included on this, which is a list of,
But I don't recall getting that.
that's in your packet towards the
But
back.
But I didn't get the packet until this morning.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess,
They're being made today, is my understanding, of this information to review or consider.
so what's Ashland making? We haven't had a chance to,
Not posted salary.
how about Morrow? Is Morrow on there?
If I could,
I don't see Morrow.
we obtained some numbers. We attempted to go out and on our own and request those. I think what's interesting is Ashland is a level 1 county. So there's 6 levels of counties, so you have the 2 largest at a level 6 as it relates to population, and that's statutory. That's going to be Franklin County and Cuyahoga County. From there, you got your level 5s, your 4s, your 3s, your 2s, your 1s. So we're talking about comparing equal counties or similar counties. I'm looking at level threes
By levels.
based on population.
Okay, but that's handled by the fact that we have significantly more attorneys in Ashland.
No.
Ashland, I believe, has what, 3 or 4 prosecuting APAs? We have 12? I mean, a murder in Ashland is a murder in Richland County, right?
Yes.
So I guess population dictates the amount of APAs you hire.
Similarly,
And it's
I'm trying
all under
to,
the ORC, so you're charged under ag, murder, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying a murder, a rape under the same ORC that we are. The difference where the levels come in, and just as I would say, if Franklin's the highest level, because there's the most populated county, they're gonna have significantly more prosecutors than an Ashland, right? So the population is gonna dictate your staff numbers. The case topic isn't changing, right?
case topic, but case numbers changed.
Right, so Ashland has how many APAs?
I don't know how many.
Andrew, you're from Ashland, you're an attorney. We got like 4? 3 or 4?
A couple of reasons left.
Yeah, a couple of left, same issues there. I think they have 4 APAs, give or take. We have 12. Or we're asking for 12. We currently have 8. So you have at least twice as many APAs and you're requesting 12?
Talking about felony cases to attorneys.
Right, same as Ashland. So doesn't the levels dictate the amount of staff you have?
If Ashland County is on here at 52,316 people, they have 5 attorneys.
How many APAs does Wayne have?
I don't know. We don't know based on that.
But you provided me a sheet, Jody. I'm just trying,
Again, Wayne County would not communicate
I have a sheet from Wayne, I guess.
from the auditor, not
So
from the prosecutor's office.
So I guess, and I'm not, this isn't your fault, because you said they're not talking to you. Absolutely not your fault. You provided us a sheet from Wayne saying, here's what the county auditor in Wayne County provided us as far as attorney salaries, right?
Quickly, you brought up Wayne County. I've never compared to Wayne County, but go ahead.
Well, but how do you know? I guess you're saying we're not competitive. You need comparables, right?
And I'm trying to get to that with my comparables. I'm trying to get there.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
The Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association in September began essentially similar a survey study they asked all of the counties in the state of Ohio to go ahead and submit information. I have the entire comprehensive report available digitally. You cannot put it all on a board or even view it on a screen in a comprehensive manner. So I tried to do my best to display it here. If we can go ahead and take a look at this sheet here. Looks like an email. It has the numbers, or it has the counties listed, it has the populations stated, and then it also has the class of county.
Okay, may I ask, do you have the staff numbers affiliated or representing to those populations?
Yes,
Okay,
those that responded,
okay.
not everybody responded. That's what I have on this board.
Okay, well, I have not seen that, so it's hard to ask questions off of it.
I agree. I can leave it here if you have questions. So
Give me a county on there that's, I don't know, what counties do you have comparable to Richmond from a population perspective?
as far as level 3 counties, these are the ones that are all in yellow and orange that are highlighted.
Like, I'm blind as a bat, so what are those counties there?
It appears that Medina responded, and again, they don't give me specifics. I have to go ahead and take
Medina's about 60,000 more people than us, right?
correct, but within the Ohio Revised Code, there's still a level 3, just like us, just like Richland County. So I'm
Okay.
trying to look at
So how many APAs do they have?
and below. Currently listed, they have 15.
Okay, so that's more than us. So they're in the same level and they have more than us.
Correct.
Right.
You have more population, typically more potential crime, more bodies needed to keep that chief number at a constant.
They're in the same level with more APAs than us.
Correct.
Okay,
And as well as there's counties on here with less
okay.
that are still in the same class.
So who's less that has?
I have Level threes, I'm sorry,
You're
Audra, I
fine.
feel very. Level threes, I believe I've been able to identify Medina County, Wayne County, Wood County, Richland County, Geauga County, and Clark County on here. There's one that I have no idea who it is. They just left a level 3. The population isn't listed.
I guess I'm a little confused because you're saying, well, I don't have information from Wayne, I don't have information from Wayne, and then you're using them as a comparable.
Again, Wayne did not speak to me. I'm talking as to the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association survey, what was provided to them.
So Wayne has about 5,000 less people than us. How many APAs do they have? According to what you have.
They have 13. But again, Commissioner Bureau, if you can please hear me, these are somewhat of guesses because I can only match it based on population.
Thank you.
I would also add to that, that Wayne being more, I don't know if it's more rural or not, but I don't see it at the same crime levels.
Well, they're that's what their APAs also handle. Complex.
Their felony misdemeanor, their felony prosecutors do not.
But it'd be no different than you having an APA and working in juvenile. It's still paid out of the county prosecutor's office. Right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Wayne pays out of there is the same.
Yeah.
If you take a look here at the base salaries, we're at 55,000 currently. We're the lowest in that class. They range from 60, there's typically 65. And I'm just saying those that are around. There are some that are, I guess, outliers. For example, I think Medina provided their total salary line item at 1,135,000. So I'm not even considering that. It ranges from 58, there's 69, 65, 65. That's in class 3s. Now, in discussions with one of the commissioners that was asking the questions, they said, but we're more rural. So those more rural counties are typically your level 2s and your level 1s. You go ahead and look at my base salary at 55. I'm still below level 1 counties. That's where I'm talking about. I want to be able to compete
Got it.
on that lower end. If you go across here,
What's the average salary you show for Wayne?
if this is accurate, this was showing prior to, or when this was published, this report was published as 58.
I show our average salary right now is 72.
What if you, our ranges, I'm looking at our ranges. For an assistant prosecutor, they start, those ranges were given to me from the commissioners. I believe it's, is it 55 to 71? Is that right, Audra?
For wage scale?
Yeah, what they want us to stay within.
Yes.
So are higher end people higher than the other counties then?
No, I think they're competing just fine. I think they're just fine there. And with that, and that goes back to the scale that I am asking to be within, because I'm able to account for longevity.
You're asking
And
starting salaries to come up to 75,000.
Correct. If you take a
And what's
look,
the starting in Wayne that's on your chart?
I have no idea. I have no idea. This states 58, but I know Wayne County just increased salaries. I don't know.
I guess I'm just a little confused because you're saying Wayne don't talk to us, but then I know what their, if their starting salaries are 58, you're asking to go to 75.
Are you looking at
No,
that
I'm
vacant
not.
position?
I'm looking at your proposed base salary, 75, 70, 70, 70.
Peter, you want Commissioner
Right, he's
Vera?
looking-
Professional service schedule.
That's position specifically, we would be seeking an experienced attorney, so that would not be considered an entry level. What,
Well, you don't have a proposed base salary lower than $70,000.
That is
Any level.
correct. That is
Vacancy,
absolutely
yes.
correct.
So that's significantly higher than the starting salaries in other counties.
No.
I'm not saying that's right or wrong.
No, it is not. When you take a look at this, we're talking, when you review the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association's current vacancies, and I provided that to the commissioners, you will see that
Okay, maybe we just did the board. If you could send that to us so we could take a look at it.
I can send you the entire report.
Okay,
it's not gonna look like
But
that.
it's not going to look like that.
Okay.
When you review those vacancies, that are currently listed, and there are over 35, you will see that the average salaries range between 60 and maybe 75,000. There are counties that are smaller than us that are posting at $80,000. I'm not asking to go above and beyond. I'm just asking to be part of the game. There was concerns regarding where we are maybe above, and that's what I'm attempting to address here. That is the why. We talk about legal secretaries. There's a posting there for legal secretaries at 18 to 20,000 or $18 to $20 per hour. When you review the comparisons within other counties, we are far below. I don't even have a paralegal. I don't have secretaries that are trained in the law. We had some interview. We told them what the salary was. They refused, turned us down.
You made an offer to one and didn't show up, right?
Yeah, there's two of them, I think, at this point. We've had two now. Our salary ranges, as I've stated, go across the board here. I'm not looking to compete with counties number class 4, 5, or 6. I'm just looking to be in that ballpark on class 3.
But I guess again, I'm just confused as to you're requesting, you're presenting information. I'm not saying is right or wrong, where starting salaries are in the 50s or low 60s in these level 3 counties, right?
No, they're not. They're above. We are at 55.
Okay,
There was one county, and that was Wayne at 58, and there's a 2. And I don't know what the rest of that is. Again.
so Wayne's
this is
starting
outdated.
is 58 or not 58?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know that
They just raised the rate.
but then she doesn't know. How do you know they raised rates if you don't know?
because we have personal communications with people currently in the office. And then if you take a look at that auditors,
I can just get a hold of Sue. I can ask Sue Smale. Yeah, we'll just get a hold of Wayne. No big deal.
go ahead. I'm not asking to, I haven't identified Wayne. That is Commissioner Vera, you have identified Wayne.
But they're probably our closest comp in terms of demographics and budget size and
I wouldn't disagree. Then be careful there because I know their experienced prosecutors are getting 95,000.
but we have. That's fine. I guess we are paying
We're not
that.
as concerned with the experienced ones though, right? What
I'm sorry.
focusing on here is the entry level. That's the most important to you, right?
Yes, I want to be able to recruit and retain. Part of the important retention piece is also going back into that mental health stipend, lowering my case numbers by recruiting at least new prosecutors. And I need the ability to approach the commissioners when we have that standout applicant to potentially go above where that current vacancy is. And then pay them based on experience. And that would be based on the scales that I've proposed to the commissioners and provided to the commissioners.
Okay.
Anything else other than salaries that you want to point out to?
I've talked about I think it's important to keep in mind that prosecutions are not getting simpler, they're getting more complex. With each case, I have one case that has an expert because the court refused to, one case, 2 defendants, the court refused to confine that case. I had to pay an expert twice. That expert cost $10,000. That's going to be a $20,000 bill. I have another case that was submitted to us for an expert. That's a special prosecution. I have no say in that matter, how that's money spent. That fee there is $21,000. So at that point, just those 2 cases combined, that's 3/4 of my FOJ. So experts are becoming a grave issue, and we're going to have to figure out how to fund those potentially if things become, I'll say, sticky, not making additional requests there. I know that the court is proposing changes as it relates to discovery. They're discussing requiring the prosecutor's office to provide new copies of videos to new council, not just requiring new council to obtain those copies from old council or by making us just copy once, but actually copy them as with every new attorney. I have cases that have well over 20 discs or per case. And if I have to do that multiple times, you can understand how that's going to be time, that's going to be personnel, that's going to be costs as it relates to media costs. So that is the situation that's kind of ebbing and flowing currently. The cost of prisoners to convey prisoners, that's gone up exponentially. I can never predict where those are, what those might be. And where those prisoners may be found, but we do have an obligation to bring those prisoners back, trying to be judicious about that, but we can see that those increases have occurred, I think fairly steadily. There was concerns, I guess, just quickly highlighting, there was concerns as it relates to our budget increases. I think as it relates to inflation and such, I think we are under 8% at this point. When you talk about, when you subtract that actual contraction with inflation in 2023 to this year, that budget increase is actually going to be less than that. But we're still well under the cost of inflation, where inflation is surpassing our increases by about 14%. The average dollar now goes to our spending power is about $1.22 as opposed to $1 just the equivalent in 2020. Audra, what else did you want to highlight? Sorry.
Well, you've given us a lot of information. We're used to the prosecutor's office asking for more, and I appreciate the information. I appreciate the fact that you work so hard to show why you need it. Take a look at it. We obviously have more to look at.
I understand. I respect your guys' position. I don't envy your position that you're in. I know you have a lot of asks, so all I can ask is for your attention, and I appreciate that.
Leave a note to Wayne to ask how many APAs they have and what their salaries are. If you're having issues communicating with them.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Got it. Can you do the same for Ashland?
Sure, if you obtain the information, we'd appreciate getting the information.
Okay.
Commissioner Banks' comments. I know you didn't go into this request lightly by any stretch. Worked on this long, hard, searching, you spent a lot of time on this ask. I know it's important to you, so thanks for the investment of all your time and resources. And
Richland County deserves it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Al, the News Journal. Al, Friends Prosecutor's Office.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not
Oh,
at this time, no. Thank you.
Okay, that's all that's on, right?
Carl's on now.
Oh, Carl?
Yeah, I'm sorry I got in late, was tied up in another meeting, but just if you could send me a copy of the overall budget, I'd greatly appreciate it.
We will, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Anybody want to take a break? Moving on.
I don't think that, yeah, I just keep going.
Oh,
Yeah, let's keep going.
Next up is our friends at the Veteran Services.
But they can't present the budget.
I'm sorry?
They're not here to present the budget. Sue and
No, you're correct. I'm Doug Figger, the
Right.
president of the Association of Commissioners. We thank you for the opportunity. We are somewhat embarrassed and apologize that our leader, our director is not here this time. Mr. Corn's the vice president of the commission, and We were instructed to be here at 9:30, now not by you people, but by.
It got changed to 10. It must
It's,
not have told you.
I'm
But
sorry.
it got changed to 10,
We had a late change in the schedule.
but I don't know where they are, so.
Well, I made a phone call, so our director is inbound to head this way from the office.
We could just hurry up and wrap up the other, right?
Yeah, we've got other things we'll do until he gets here.
Okay,
It worked out perfect, right?
Yeah.
It works that way.
yeah, and we just sit here at the time.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
I'll gladly change seats with you since it's budget.
Oh, no. I've been on the other side before. You did an excellent job. all
Thank you. Thank you.
And your staff.
That makes us look good because they're smarter than us, so. All right, Cliff, you're up.
Speaking of the devil,
Well, here they are.
Let's just go through the other anyway.
All right, let's get started. Can I have a motion to approve requisitions?
So moved.
Second.
Here. I know what I was talking about. Another.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
I have a motion to approve the weekly transfers and appropriations.
I'm gonna make a motion that we remove domestic relations court. I have many times in person, over the phone and via email, and I did just send the judge the 2 emails that she was on and her fiscal director, where we request reasons for transfers. If you notice on their requests, we have no reasons, and I know they're new and we're working through it, but I have asked many, many times over. And you recall we had a conversation about it here, so I do think we need to be consistent with our requests.
I will second the motion, leaving them on.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to authorize advertising for fine public hearing September 14th at 10 o'clock?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
I have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the sheriff fraternal order of police for corrections. Supervisors' wages.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
And can I have a motion to approve extending the medical services contract in jail for 60 days while we take a look at what other options there might be?
I would request that we continue on with the budget hearings. Come back to that because I think that's going to be quite some discussion.
Okay.
Moving on, let's go talk to our friends and.
morning.
Veterans.
Yes,
That, Ken, if you'd like to recap your budget for us.
the letter.
But the letter that we wrote
Walk right in the door and we put you in the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
on October 19th, we asked for a revision, because we've, had to pay Tyler, Technologies for veteran software. For marketing, we also added a new marketing firm that was not in there last year. I think that's all we had on the revision, sir.
So if I look, Ken, I don't see any change. I mean, you guys have, everyone has a unique budget. So one thing I do for every single budget commission or submission we have is I go through the head count requests. I don't see any head count requests, but am I looking at that right? I show you're seeking, this excludes the board, of course. I show 7 full-time, which is director, 4 service officers, secretary, receptionist, and 2 part-time drivers. Am I looking at that correctly?
Yes.
That would be the same as your request last year.
Yes.
Okay. Just gotta see some of these other ones where there's 26 here, part-time there, and then they want 3 full-time, like yours is somewhat easier.
Our biggest change is with our veterans program with changing to Tyler Technologies. It's gonna cost us more in the long run, but the other one that we had, they just basically went out of business and didn't even let us know. So we went with the newer technology, and Nate from IT helped us get a reduction in fees in some of the things they were charging with us going with Tyler. So, and it's been a pretty smooth process going from one that we've had for years to this new program. It's working out very well.
Expect a learning curve on that new software?
They're big curve.
The curve
Depends on who you talk to.
cost is very reasonable. I mean, overall, I think your budget is very, very good.
If I look,
Conscious.
yeah, this is a good budget. I just have some questions on the numbers. So if you look at your personal service schedule, Sue, you have all right, so the service officer trainee will become a service officer, right?
Yes,
Okay. And that replaces the one service officer who left.
correct.
Okay. So that's where the pay bump comes from there. Okay. And all these lines. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
I have no question. This has done very well and we appreciate your efforts and Ken getting it done.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys had something to do with it.
Well, I don't have any further questions, so we can ask the media if they do. Al, do you have any questions on the veteran service?
No, no question. Just wanted to say it was good to see you guys down in Kentucky at the cemetery for this service for John Rowald. Thanks for coming down.
Well, thank you. It was very, very honorable to do that.
Okay, and Al?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
You all for coming?
Thanks, y'all.
Let's talk about the medical services now, since we have a 20.
I got my October report there. Do you just want a copy?
Yeah.
I made a copy for each one of them.
Go.
I finally was able to get that.
See you guys. Have
I
a
said, yeah, I get October done and
I don't see you.
Friday. Oh, I threw my phone down. Okay. Oh, I gotta have that.
Yeah, you need a coat today.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And when you know it, I still have my Ohio State jacket. One of these years.
you're smiling now. It must
I finally got
a
over
few days to get over that, right?
Yeah.
You wear them in victory and defeat. As a Notre Dame fan, it's oftentimes in defeat for me. So
Gotta take the good with the bad.
see you guys.
Okay.
Now, Rachel has suggested that we extend the contract with them for 2 months and send it out for bids.
Mhm.
And I talked with Captain Bunk. He has a concern. Not sure. But his concern is done before, when he first took over the jail. And he lost a lot of his medical staff. Good staff now. See that happen. I'm not sure.
But he doesn't want to send it out for bid.
He's reluctant to send it out. How do you justify a 33%?
Well, let me ask you this because,
There's nothing to say we can't accept the increase after the extension, right?
right,
So why don't we extend it and then you have conversation, and we could approve it before the extension, right? So why don't we extend it and then you have some additional conversations with Rachel and Captain and come back with that information.
well, I have a question about some of the numbers that don't seem to make sense to me. In Rachel's email, it says the current annual rate is $607,156. If I look at their budget, 2023 requested with $567,000, which is well under the 607. But 2023 year to date is only $342,400. Like somewhere about half of what you're saying our current annual rate is, unless they're very late in paying.
Did you look at Munis when the payment dates are?
No, I don't know what the payment dates are, but I'd be surprised if the rate is 607,000 the end of October, they only paid $342,000. I did have a conversation with Rachel and she didn't know. I didn't talk to Captain Blunt.
She didn't know.
She didn't know.
You don't pay the bill, so.
No, but it just seemed like a large disparity. Our rate is 607,000. We don't have close to that being spent year to date. What was appropriated is under that amount.
Carol, why don't you just talk to Rachel and Captain after this?
So do you want to make a motion? Do you want to end?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Mears?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Rivera?
Yes.
Carl, do you have any questions on what that's all about?
Did we, on my memory, did we do this FOP? We didn't do.
No, that's wastewater. So
FOP, the sheriff one, yes.
FOP for sheriff one though.
The sheriff one you did, yes.
Did that one. Yes, that's what I'm making sure.
oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to ask a question about. What is that MOU about for the supervisor wages? What does that entail?
We have to keep supervisors, this is standard across the board in law enforcement, not just here, but everywhere. Obviously, if you want to incentivize progression through the union and then eventually non-union, you have to try to avoid wage compression, Carl. So you pay a level up X amount of percent to incentivize people to progress through the department or the office, excuse me.
Well, I know when Captain Blunk was in, he talked about the difficulty he had in advancing people. Is that related to that particular meeting when he was in?
Yes, and just across the board, but yes, this is for corrections. That is correct. And so, the sergeant shall be paid 14% greater than the highest paid base rate of a correction officer. And then lieutenants are 10% higher than sergeants. And this is standard. They're just creating the gap.
Okay, and how many sergeants, does the MOU indicate how many sergeant lieutenant positions there are and what that's going to mean in terms of, when does it go into effect?
Now I
Okay, is
could
this
go
like
in and
a-
look, they're budgeting for, again, but their budgeting and what they have are two different things. So Captain Blunt can give you the bullseye on that, Carl. I can tell you that they've requested, hold on. Let me pull that up. All right, so what they are requesting for in corrections. Okay, so they are requesting 4 lieutenants and 6 sergeants. It's been 10 since 2022.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. Are you still doing the Shiloh water main thing in 1115?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I did have one follow-up to that. So basically what you're saying is the MOU adjusts those sergeant and lieutenants' salary based on recent increases in the union contract for the other employees. Is that what you're saying?
Say that again, Al.
Okay, let me change it. There were increases in wages for the regular corrections employees, and so the MOU adjusted the percentages to provide a gap between the new salaries and the sergeants and lieutenants. Is that right?
It.
Exactly.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood. That's it.
Stacy, did we vote on the medical services contract extension?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Did? Oh, so, let's see.
Recess till 10:30.
It is 10:16 right now. We will take a recess until 10:30. We'll talk to Amanda Miller with a couple of items on the wastewater treatment plant. 10:30, the Board of Commissioners is back in session. We're joined with Amanda Miller from the wastewater treatment plant to talk about a couple of items of interest. So Amanda, why don't we start with the memorandum of understanding first?
I've come to you to ask today to accept the memorandum of understanding with the union for billing clerk base pay being moved from $12 an hour to $15 an hour. We've the job market that we have today, we have to be able to compete with McDonald's. We're able to negotiate that. Mass.
This is, includes any bargaining unit members in this classification get a $3 an hour increase.
Yes, that's kind of a standard language, but we don't have anybody in that classification as of right now. So
Have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, could I have a motion to authorize the MOU?
So moved.
Second.
Mears,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Farrell.
Yes.
And secondly, Amanda?
with that approved, I'm asking for permission to advertise to hire a new billing clerk. We've been without a billing clerk for 6 months now. Kevin was promoted to administrative. That position filled after the new year. I'd like to advertise, I have internally advertised per the union contract. After that, I can go out and advertise in Richland Source, so I'm planning to advertise with. And let the ad run for the full month of December, since it's kind of a short month with all the holidays and things going in, so that we can accumulate the best candidates. Have it due January 8th too.
Kevin's been helping Dawn.
Yeah, Kevin's been, when Dawn's off sick or if she's out, he's been covering, and as he's taken over and learning the administrative workload, it's becoming increasingly harder to keep him working on one end and have to cover for Dawn. So we really do need that other person in there.
So I would make a motion that you permitted to go forth and advertise the position of billing clerk.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Yes.
Also, Amanda? Okay. Carl, any questions on that?
No, but I did hear advertising in Richland Source, so I may add my fourth vote of approval. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Al, you still on the line?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. That's all we have for right now, and we'll stand in recess at 10:33 until we talk to the recorder regarding the 2024 budget. So reconvene at 10:45.
in the election. The rose between the two thorns.
Given any of those situations. 10:45 a.m., the Richland County Board of Commissioners is back in session. Now joined with our new recorder, Denise Jackson. We're going to talk about her budget 2024. So with that, Denise, it's all yours. Tell us what you got in mind for next year.
Well, as you all realize, this is my first budget hearing. Just gonna,
Standard practice and first budget hearing, we ask 30 questions per new elected official to see if they're ready to roll, so.
I let you intimidate me. I'm gonna happen again.
I have 29, I have to
About
finish
that.
my 30th.
I'll just give you a brief overview. Everything stayed about the same. From a personnel perspective, at this point, I am not backfilling my position. However, I did budget for 6 months for a new person. Should you find that is necessary.
That's the scanning clerk, right?
That's actually the
Yes.
question I had. That's the only question I had.
And you did promote.
Yeah. Right.
That, yes, I am, that the wheels are in motion with Jenny Phelps from HR. And also that wage study through Clemens Nelson, which I know we have not received that back yet, but yes, to give her that title. In my absence, she'll be able to run the office effectively. I'm not planning on, going anywhere, but, on any given day, or if I were to take vacation, she can take care of the day-to-day operations and do it well.
So the scanning clerk would be full-time or part-time?
We did budget that to be full-time.
So this would be an increase in, because in 2023 budget, I only showed 4 full-time. Is that correct?
Plus the recorder.
Right.
So if we-
Excluding the recorder.
Scanning clerk, there would still be full-time.
I show. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay,
Cool.
So no change in headcount,
no change.
but you're not backfilling yourself.
That's correct.
Well, you can't replace yourself. You're wonderful.
You're replaceable.
You're irreplaceable.
Indispensable.
Trying to redeem yourself. Now, I am a bit concerned about the revenue prediction of the 343,000. We did lower that one time, and I believe lowered the equipment account or fund, if I don't want to misspeak on that, Stacy, so year to date, around 323,000 is where we are now.
That's our prediction for 23.
Yes.
Why the $50,000 less?
She didn't
Out
predict
there.
2023.
Out there. Yeah,
And
yes,
based on, what comes through the office.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. I need my door opening to get my revenue. I need people in and out of there. I need houses to.
Well, real estate sales are slowing down,
Correct.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
So
We need-
look at our revenues.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, because of the rate, because the increase in interest rate,
Interest rates are up.
right?
I still hear from people that can't get housing or they're bidding quickly because houses are going quickly.
It is
Market is,
slower.
It's slowing.
It is.
You can look at our conveyance fees to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I guess, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask you gentlemen a
No,
question,
questions only go one way.
but, do you think I should lower it,
Fine.
more so, I guess is my question.
you're closer to it.
What happens is if you come in less than your projections, so that your prices right rule, the next budget, we double what you're off in a reduction.
Okay, great.
But Denise and I talked about that because this year's estimate was like 390.
Yeah.
And she's gonna come in like 323,
Oh,
325. And so with 343 next year, we talked about whether or not it should really be reduced to like
I
325.
probably would reduce it because things are slowing down to what you anticipate the actual would be. mean, I know we're talking
Our
25
question.
grand and a
Yeah.
$48 million budget, give or take, but
Yeah.
I think if we're truly, probably should reduce it, I would think. I mean, unless you think it's gonna be better next year, but I don't.
Hard to predict.
I,
In the sense, this is our first time going,
320 now, you said?
no, we're estimating, do you have that?
I do, yes. Let me see where we're at.
We're at 319 now.
Hey,
But if you take the 319 and add what we brought in December of last year,
Mhm.
that gave us the 323.
Mhm.
Now she has this week to add money to the 319, but we came up with the 323 from taking where we are now and adding December of last year.
So last year we forecast a balance, in the black, basically $55,000. That's probably not gonna happen.
No,
We're running
yeah, because
a deficit.
it was estimated, no, if I printed that, I think, yeah, 396 is what the previous recorder estimated for this year. I think, yeah. So but when we looked
You're gonna make it redder.
at that, we were concerned on what to really do.
well, Price is Right rules apply now. You can't go over.
Well, that's,
Now, if I could predict, I would be somewhere warm, making millions playing the futures market.
But then
I would.
come in
I would.
out with us. I have no more questions.
I don't. It's a sensible budget. You've been there, you know what's going on.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for putting up with me for 6 weeks.
Well, you have Glenn, so that's
Is
your
that, oh, okay, well, hey,
Pavarotti, so.
Yeah.
all right. Anything else for me?
Not from us, but Carl Al might have a question. Carl? Any questions for our new recorder, Denise Jackson?
Nope, not at this time, but congratulations.
Thank you so much. They can teach an old dog some new tricks.
Ooh.
I count on that every day.
Al, do you have anything for Denise?
No, other than just a reminder, don't let Tony bully you.
Yes, I've learned that. Thank you so much for reminding me. Thank you.
Simple as that, Denise.
Okay, well,
Coming in.
gosh, isn't too bad. It is tricky up there to try to,
Oh, sure. It's a forecast.
you know,
Make your best guess.
I'm gonna put Glenn out on the corner in a chicken suit. I think we'll be able to get,
Yeah, put it like have him shake a can or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
or-
I think we can.
he offered,
start rolling.
He could like play a ukulele. He could sing.
Yeah, he's multi-talented.
he offered,
So
$50,000 to make up for.
I'm,
he offered yesterday. I told him to
Did.
get out there.
yeah, he did. Yep, yep.
I've got a frog suit.
Do you? Do you?
Oh, we can.
I'm gonna tell him about that.
Have a Santa suit. He could be a singing Santa.
Oh, there you go.
One time I could actually get in.
All right.
Remember, you know how them frogs blow out their place? That's
Yes,
what
no.
it's like now.
That's funny. That's fun.
Oh.
Is there anything else for me?
No, not a thing.
Okay,
It's 10:53 a.m. Richland County Board of Commissioners will go into recess until 11:15. We'll talk about the Shiloh Water Main Project and the award of the CDBG grant. We'll stand in recess for 19 minutes. 11:15, the Richland County Board of Commissioners is back in session. We're here to talk about the CDBG award for the Shiloh Water Main Project, and we're joined by 5 interested parties. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting with the back of the room and who you are and why you're here.
I think I'm actually here for the next one about the broadband. I'm Ashley Carlin. I'm with Spectrum.
Oh, okay. You're early, but make yourself comfortable. Jody Cachetti.
Jody Cachetti, Regional Planning.
Paul Courier, Mayor-elect of Shiloh.
New mayor.
New mayor. Well, I'm no.
Almost.
I've been told I'm nobody until I'm somebody.
So what's that make you today?
Just a guest.
Charles Reeder, Clerk Mayor of Shiloh.
Okay.
Ryan Verberg, Village Administrator for the Village of Shiloh.
Okay. So whoever would like to be the spokesman for this project and let us know what we're here for. Ryan?
And I got this.
Pointing at you.
Thanks. So, all the, bids came in, for the water line project, and the combined totals of A and B. Adjustments have been made, Dirt Dog Excavation, LLC is supposedly the winner. It's all calculated out. It's calculated out to be $1,696. $1,696,000. And $939. Okay, the next closest was RA Boers Excavating. Their bid was calculated at $1,847,475. But it says the informal totals was $1,856,475. So there must have been there was a calculation difference, when the CT went through it. Next was Driven Excavation for $1,921,802. Then it was Buckeye Excavating Construction, $1,944,405. And then it was Elite Excavating Company of Ohio. Calculated total was $271,615. But then it said the informal total was $270,615. So there was a $1,000 difference there. Resolution is to be passed tonight for the tower, which is for Isler demolition. Didn't have it broken down somewhere.
I believe Carl Hunnell is a water tower demolition expert, so you give him a buzz and he'll help you on that.
No, I'm an expert on who not to hire, and it's anybody that the city of Mansfield hired.
We're seeing that video. That's why I went away from tipping the tower to taking it down by a crane.
Wise choice indeed, sir.
Yeah, no hip mishaps there. So I guess, is there any questions that we need to go over?
Well, I've got the letter that came from you and it's basically saying that the engineering company looked everything over and agreed that contract A should be awarded to Dirt Dog Ashland, and contract B, which is everything was in order with the Isler Demolition Company. So I think that's what main things we're looking for.
That a motion?
That is a motion. I would make a motion that we award the contracts to Dirt Dog Excavation for contract A, and contract B go to Isler Demolition Incorporated.
Second.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Jericho, did you want to make any comments on this at all? Okay,
I do, okay. Okay.
it didn't take long. Carl, any other questions?
Well, since Mayor Reeder wasn't here when they opened the bids, I didn't get a chance to ask him about how satisfying it is. I got a month or so left in office to see that this project that you've worked so hard for is actually going to come to fruition now.
We're very satisfied and want to thank the commissioners and Jodica and Heidi for all they've done on behalf of the village of Shiloh to make this possible. Without their help, it wouldn't happen. We're very thankful.
And I guess, Brian, I know one of the things that Village Council had done is kind of look at water rates to help pay for this. Since this is coming in a little bit less, maybe $500,000 less than originally estimated, do you think council will look back at the water rate increase and see if that needs to be adjusted, or will you think you'll stay with what you have?
I'm sure they'll try and adjust it if they can, yes. And really being pushed down with this project, but if anything we can do to help lower the rates would be great.
All right. And Brian, anything on that? I mean, you've helped look at the water rates. Any thoughts that you're going to take back to council in the months ahead, or is it too early to tell?
Right now, at this point in time, I think it's too early to tell. We have another grant we are looking at, possibly getting on this. So right now, don't want to speak out of term. So I think it'll be in the future that we'll know more.
Okay, that's what I had. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Carl. You, Al, from the News Journal, anything? Questions?
No, nothing. Thank you.
What we still need now will be 2 separate complete contract packages. One for contract A, one for contract B. It'll include all of the addenda that were issued on the project. It'll include all of the bid forms that were submitted by the contractors. And that's what both the village and the county commissioners will sign, 2 separate contract packages. So my suggestion would be to ask CT to provide complete contract packages for contract A, contract B. And if you forward that to the county before they're signed, we can do a review and sign it and certify it to the village contract.
Is that not what this is? You didn't get this?
No, they have not yet submitted.
Okay.
The entire bid package as we expect for it to be signed. Is that accurate, Jody?
Yeah, and I'll reach out to them.
And I can help with, however.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you all for coming.
Like I say, I'd like to thank Lonnie McGee and technical support for all this too.
No, we don't want to thank him.
Yeah. Without him, it wouldn't have happened.
What is 11:23? Commissioners will stand in recess until 11:30 and we'll talk about charter spectrum. Thanks again, guys. 30, yeah.
We ordered Chick-fil-A sauce by the big bottle.
The County Board of Commissioners is back in session at 11:31, and we're going to talk about the charter spectrum resolution. And your name again? I'm sorry.
I am Ashley Carlin.
Ashley, welcome.
Thank you.
Talk about the resolution.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in October, Charter filed a complaint against the PUCO or with the PUCO against AEP for the delay in the processing of all our pole permitting requests. So across the state of Ohio, we've filed about 86,000 pole permitting requests with AEP. At this point in time, they've only approved about 16% of those. And pole.
You said 86,000?
Yeah, so we're building to
One permit per pole?
Correct, yes. So we have to submit a pole permit for every single pole we attach to.
Okay.
And that's one of the biggest hurdles to the build out of broadband. Here in Richland County, we have submitted about 2,200, a little over, permits. And none of them have been completed and none of them have even been surveyed. So they haven't even gone out to look at the pole before completing the actual permitting part of it.
Where's this been?
We started submitting them in May. May, June, July, and August is when we submitted them. PUCO, by their rules, they have 30 to 45 days to complete the survey part of it. And they haven't moved on any of our polls here in Richland County. So we're really concerned with that. It's definitely delaying our build out of broadband and making it difficult for us to meet the deadlines for, our build here in Richland County that is through the state of Ohio that you guys contributed funding to. And so we're asking you guys to pass a resolution just to kind of help put some additional pressure on AEP to hopefully help speed up the process and get those pole permitting.
So, in the interest of also, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago with Lieutenant Governor. I know that sounds name droppy on another project that is broadband related, by the way. And he was aware of this. In the interest of fairness, as you know, I've had some communications with AEP. And I've had some conversations with PUCO. AEP is saying, hey, because of these ARPA dollars, this is an unprecedented number of permits for access. And what they're also saying is, I know if you just hear permits on a utility pole, it's not that big a deal, go out and approve it. But what they're saying is that is not the case. These poles are in different geographic locations. And they require engineers to go out for load studies, and if the poles will need to be a different pole, where it could go. It's not as simple as just stamp the approval and move on. So, we're not intentionally dragging our feet. This is just an unprecedented amount of requests we've had because of ARPA and the increase in broadband, which is a good thing for obviously Richland County, Ohio, the country. What say you and Charter in response to their, and far be it for me to want to get in between a fight of two utility companies?
No, that's very accurate. This is unprecedented in terms of the number of pole permitting requests we are submitting. It is due to RDOF, Orbag, all the programs that are coming down for broadband deployment. We know that, we recognize that. And so we have tried every remediation effort we can. We have offered AEP financial support. We have offered to hire contractors of their choosing to help with this process. And all of our offers have been rejected. And so we have tried everything that we know to try and help them speed up this process, get out there, look at the poles. We pay for the make ready. So if there's a pole that needs replaced, that comes out of our pocket. But they have rejected those offers so far. And so the filing of the complaint with the PUCO really was a last ditch effort to try and get them to speed up the process.
And this has to be completed by 26?
Yes. Do we still believe we're going to meet the 2026 completion date?
We don't know. It depends right now on how fast we can get these permits.
Andrew, do you have an opinion on whether we should pass this resolution or not?
I believe you should pass the resolution. We need to do everything we can to keep the pressure on AEP to issue these permits for Richland County's residents.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
You have a physical
I
resolution?
got them. I spent this morning formatting them up and
Thank you. Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Mr. Barrow.
yes.
Okay. Al, what do you think?
You guys are done signing those.
Uh,
Do you need a copy of it? Do you need one
I
of them?
think I'm good on that. Would, just out of curiosity, I know, it was mentioned that, Charter Spectrum was looking at paying for some things and I don't know whether Andrew wants to answer this, or the commissioners want to answer this. Would it be possible to offer more ARPA money to pay for that, or is that something you really don't think you should be doing?
Well, we shouldn't be doing it, not sure if we can do it, and we've appropriated $2 million to do it. So I think that's a significant amount of ARPA money to show the commitment in Richland County. Keep in mind now, this is an over $5 million project for a little over 700 customers.
An AEP is a regulated utility doing business in the state of Ohio. They're required to, as our charter representative Ashley mentioned, they're required to adjudicate these pull permit applications within a timely period. So we would consider a further ARPA expenditure here to be subsidizing a public electrical utility, which we will not do.
Well, actually, and you said you've already offered financial support for this, right?
We have, correct.
So you'd offered money to expedite this anyway.
And to, also to hire contractors of AEP's choosing to help them meet that manpower issue.
Has AEP given you any kind of reason for turning this down, other than the fact that, it's an unprecedented request?
I don't know the specifics of why they turned down those offers, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Al. Carl?
He's not there anymore.
He doesn't find charter broadband that exciting, actually.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Bring Richmond outdoors quicker to the people's homes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Definitely appreciate your time.
Thank you for driving 2 hours for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you after.
Is there any other business to come before the Board of Commissioners at this time? Hearing none, we stand adjourned at 11:39 a.m.